Hello, my name is Corey Smith. This is Module 1, Action Research and Me. I did my undergraduate from UT Martin in 2008 in education with a concentration of special education. My 14th year of teaching. I've taught in rural Tennessee, South Korea for the Department of Defense, southern Utah on the Navajo Nation, and back to Tennessee. Um, I have been married for 15 years to my lovely wife, Nicole. We have 3 kids. Eli is 7, Cora is 5, and we have a COVID baby in Madeline who is 7 months. I currently teach and in my 6th year of teaching special education and RTI at Germantown High School in Germantown, Tennessee. I'm part of the Shelby County Schools school system. We're one of the larger districts in the whole nation. Actually, I think we're in the top 20. Our school is actually in Germantown, Tennessee, which is in the county. And we have about 2,000 students. Our campus is about 22, 23 acres. We have 10 buildings. We're like a small college campus. The students go in and out, change buildings. It's a unique situation, and I like it much better than just being in just one single building all the time. I do enjoy my coworkers, and I enjoy my students there as well. What is action research? Action research is a disciplined process of inquiry conducted by and for those taking the action. What is the purpose of action research? The primary reason for engaging in action research is to assist the actor in improving and or refining his or her actions. The actor in this case would be the educator, and what they are improving or refining would be their classroom instruction. The 4 main types of action research are individual, collaborative, school-wide, or district-wide. Individual could be one teacher, their classroom, solving their problem. Collaborative, 2 or more teachers could be taking on a problem in a classroom or classrooms. School-wide would involve many more people. The problem has been identified in the whole school. And district-wide would involve a large amount of people trying to solve a problem, get more information about a problem they're having throughout the whole district. What is the goal? 2 reasons here, 2 goals. To study a system and to collaborate with members of the system to change it towards a desirable direction. I think this goes back to school-wide, district-wide, pushing things in a desirable direction. Sometimes you can't just fix all the problems at once, but you can start steering things in the right direction. And number 2 fits more for the individual or collaborative one that we saw on the last slide. Is the second one is either research initiated to solve an immediate problem or a reflective process of progressive problem solving. And I like that idea of reflective process of progressive problem solving. I think that's a good statement, the second half of that goal. We're always reflecting, we're always trying to be progressive in our problem solving, find new ways to solve problems that are going to benefit us in multiple ways. The main steps of action research are plan, act, observe, and reflect. And in this graphic, you can see that we have plan, act, observe, and reflect starting small and growing larger. I think we could also look at this um, in reverse and see that we could start large and then narrow it down um, to a little smaller thing to get the results we desire. Action research and traditional research are pretty different. Action research is conducted by teachers in schools with little control over the outside forces or variables, and you can make changes during the process and it doesn't really invalidate your research. But traditional research would be conducted more in higher education settings. They really, really want to control the variables, very rigorous about their design. That means they would not want to change anything during the process. And they're trying to find cause and effect, all while eliminating error and bias during the study. Because in traditional research, you don't control your variables, you don't get the answers that you need, your data would be invalid. Change study design in the middle, invalidate your data. And if you can't eliminate error and bias, that can also eliminate your data as well. So one is very flexible, the other is very rigid. Common problems that I saw when reading about action research, the time that it takes. No matter how small the project may be, it's still going to take up time. And that adds to a workload of a teacher, and we already know that we're all pretty loaded down on our workload. I couldn't imagine doing a project, an action research project that I tried to collaborate with or do one on my own, and also do my RTI paperwork, my RTI instruction, as well as my IEP paperwork and IEPs and meetings. It would really just be too much. And that goes into the next word, balance. It would just throw my work-life balance way off, and I couldn't do that. And then another part about it that was a pretty big problem is it was often considered inconclusive. No matter what you do, you may not get the answer you're looking for. So that could be something that you're really wasting time with, and it can be very frustrating, especially for a new teacher. The evaluation of my own teaching, I think it could improve things greatly if I was able to do it. I really do think I would be able to improve a few things that I'm able to do. I feel like some days in RTI I'm just hanging on by the skin of my teeth. I really think after looking and reading that I would be able to find the holes better for students. Right now I use a lot of assessment tools that don't really show me the holes um, that many of my students with learning disabilities have. But again, like we said, it's very time consuming, and I feel like it would be nearly impossible on a large scale for me because I may have 9 students in my RTI class, and 5 of them are doing math, 4 of them are doing reading, and each one in a different subject area is also on a different grade level. I may have 3 students who are working on a kindergarten, first and second grade level in math, while I have other 2 that are working on a sixth or seventh grade level in math. So narrowing things down and trying to pinpoint that stuff with all these guys and how my instruction is would be rather difficult. As far as a critique, I really do think it is very useful and it's proactive. I think some of the best teachers that I've ever seen are very, very proactive in various degrees. Um, don't think I've ever seen a very good new teacher. I think it takes a lot to get you there. But the best new teachers tend to be pretty proactive in how they are handling things. The best teachers I've ever seen are the veterans, and they're always proactive. They're always working towards uh, preventing things. Uh, I think many teachers use it for their own purposes. I don't think anybody in the school is really known about it. They're just trying to figure out something in their classroom to make things run more smoothly. I actually think it's used more than people realize, but it's more informal, like I said, for their own purposes. Um, I think it's used subconsciously. I think we as humans do problem solving, and we just do it naturally to a degree. And I also think it comes up as incomplete. We only do part of the 4 steps. We only get to a couple of them, or we just determine it's not going to be worth it. I got many more things to do on the other side. As far as anybody doing action research at my school, I'm unsure because special education, we're kind of offset to the side, but I'm sure to a degree teachers do get together and talk to each other about it. So uh, formally, I don't know. Informally, if I had a good guess, yes, because I work with some pretty good people. The components. Um, the action research fits in with the components because we're all trying to be better teachers all the time. And without reflecting and evaluating and developing and um, collaborating together, we can't be better teachers. We can't grow and become better. And as far as an administrator goes, looking at the school wide and district wide kind of things, without looking at all these things, the components as well, implementing all those throughout action research, we will never be able to lead a school to where it needs to go. You can have a failing, I mean, you can have a good, successful teacher in a failing school. That happens all over the place. But you'll never see a poor administrator running a successful school. That's not how it works. So in these components, where the reason it fits and action research fits is because it's driving us to be better and improving. My standard correlation, I said gaining knowledge and implementation or implementing action research correlates to the standards by promoting the current and future success and well-being of every student and adult by continuous improvement and commitments necessary to evaluate and develop instruction. The relevance, I did learn a few things with action research. I'd heard about it and I kind of understood what it is as a degree, but the types and those kind of things are great. I think it will really benefit a new teacher in their career early on instead of trying to rely just constantly on trial and error and just, because you can trial and error for years and you never know because there's so many different things that come and go, so many different kids, so many options that you have that if you kind of implement some action research early on, you're definitely going to find out more about you because action research is going to be usually geared towards the teacher and how they're improving things. But I also think it's good for veteran teachers. They can keep it in their toolbox. It's one of those essential tools that's very useful all the time, but can be used in various ways for them. As far as reflection, I think as a future school leader, keeping the idea of action research in your back pocket to kind of share it as an idea of how teachers can improve, or how, especially if you have a young teacher come to you and ask you, how can you improve? And you present them with the idea of action research. Um, I also think it'd be really good to use for departments, when they're kind of struggling, maybe as a department, uh, the social studies department, kids are failing a certain assessment all the time. Um, Maybe something like Great Depression, and teachers can take action research, take some time together, do it collaboratively to come up with what they're missing, why the kids are failing this one particular area. I also think the school-wide situation of grade bands. If you have a grade level that has sunk in a certain area or a certain subject, action research would be good there. And of course, whole school applications to various degrees would work as well. Um, I think guiding teachers into action research would yield more success and they would be more willing to do it instead of trying to tell teachers this is something you're going to do or trying to push it on them through professional development. I don't think that's the best way at all to go about it, but I think being able to suggest it uh, would be useful. Here are my citations. That is my presentation. Thank you for listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the class.